Failure, a word that tastes bitter on the tongue, but for some, it's the flavor of greatness just beginning. What if I told you that every success you admire was once wrapped in failure? That the heroes of our world, writers, inventors, leaders, were once called fools, dreamers, or worse, quitters. But they didn't quit. They failed, yes, spectacularly, publicly, painfully, and yet they got back up. Samuel Beckett once wrote, "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better." Beckett, a Nobel Prize-winning author, was rejected so many times that even he lost count. But this quote became his legacy. Not perfection, but persistence. Let's talk about Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb. Did you know he failed over 10,000 times before getting it right? When asked about it, he simply replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is not just optimism, it's a mindset. The refusal to let failure define you, the ability to reframe defeat into data. And then there's Oprah Winfrey, fired from her first television job, told she was unfit for TV. Today, she owns her own network. Failure wasn't her end. It was a brutal beginning, a necessary shedding of the old self to become the new. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher who was misunderstood his entire life, once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." Behind every successful person is a why so powerful that not even failure could kill it. Let's go deeper. What is failure really? Is it the end of a path or the first sign that you're walking a real one? In psychology, failure isn't always a setback. It's called productive failure. You try, you mess up, your brain actually rewires itself, adapting, growing. Neurologically, failure is a growth opportunity, not a stopping point. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 different publishers. She was broke, depressed, a single mother writing in cafes. But she said, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." That's not just poetic. That's psychological resilience in motion. And it's not just artists and inventors. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won. At one point, he had a nervous breakdown, but he rose again and became one of the most revered presidents in history. Every failure he endured became a chisel, carving him into a man who wouldn't be moved by mere politics or public opinion. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Imagine that. His first company went bankrupt, but he kept creating, kept dreaming, and now his name is synonymous with magic itself. Philosopher Alain de Botton once said, "Anyone who isn't embarrassed of who they were last year probably isn't learning enough." Failure is embarrassing, but so is growth. If you're not failing, maybe you're not aiming high enough. Now let's ask the big question. Why do we fear failure so deeply? Because failure, in most minds, equals rejection, not just of an idea, but of the self. But what if that's wrong? What if failure is simply feedback? Not "you're not enough," but "you're not there yet." Carol Dweck, the psychologist behind the growth mindset theory, says, "Becoming is better than being." Her research shows that people who embrace failure as part of growth achieve more in life, academically, professionally, emotionally. They're not braver. They're just more willing to be bad at something long enough to get good. Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he built, but that break led to the creation of Pixar and later to his legendary return to Apple. He once said, "Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith." If you're walking through failure right now, if nothing seems to work and the world has gone quiet, this is not the end. This is the silence before the symphony. Failure is a teacher with a sharp tongue but a generous heart. It strips you bare, removes the ego, and asks, "How badly do you want this?" Albert Einstein couldn't speak fluently until age 9. His teacher said he'd never amount to anything. He later said, "Failure is success in progress." Every time you fall, you're not falling behind. You are falling forward, closer, wiser, sharper. Brené Brown, known for her research on vulnerability, reminds us, there is no innovation and creativity without failure, period. You can't write a masterpiece with clean hands. You have to get dirty, bleed a little, feel stupid, and then keep going. So here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the soil success grows from. It's messy, it's humbling, it hurts, but it works. And if you're failing, it means you're trying, which is more than most people can say. So don't you dare give up. Not now. Not when you come this far. Remember, the greatest names in history were not born legends. They were built from failure, one mistake at a time. And someday, someone might tell your story when they're about to give up on their dream.